Muslim.
Hello, good evening, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. First of all, before we get started, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I've got over 1,000 subscribers, 1,046 to be exact. Thank you everyone for your amazing support. Do what you can to help out this channel. Subscribing is completely free. It does not cost anything. This will help me out massively, and it will keep growing this channel. Also, you can follow me on all audio platforms, wherever you get your podcast from, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. This evening, I've organised a very special show. It's my final podcast before the summer. I've been very excited for this podcast. I'm joined by my very special guest, Tony Morley. He won the European Cup with Aston Villa in 1982. It was the greatest achievement in the club's history, and that historic day made the football club what it is today. In his Aston Villa career, Tony Morley made 137 appearances and 25 goals. He had other spells with other teams, including Preston North End, Burnley, West Bromwich Albion, and a loan spell with rivals Birmingham City. Tony Morley played for Aston Villa from 1979 to 83. After his career, Tony did commentary work for AVTV with Jack Woodward, which he did a great job of. It's an absolute honour to have on the show, Tony.
Cheers, Chad. Thanks for the intro. Good. Are you looking forward to the season?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
The one and only Tony Morley.
Sorry, pal.
The one and only Tony Morley.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, listen, I'm like most Villa supporters. I'm very excited for the season. They seem to be probably I would say Villa probably in the best position I've known. I've been involved with the club for over 40 years. I say they're probably in the best position that they have been, with the new owners and the managers signing another 5 year, is it 4 or 5 year deal?
4 years.
So he must be happy at the club, and obviously the club are very happy with him, and that's just that can only say good things for Aston Villa in the next couple of seasons.
Well, I'm very excited about the future.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
It shows the owners they mean business.
Yeah. What we must realise is that, like, they've looked at Aston Villa. They've looked at Aston Villa in the probably many years and looked at the club out of maybe the top 5 or 6 who think they could achieve great things with, and with Villa's history and Villa's fan base. And everything got going for them. I think they looked at this club and think they could take this club. But let's be honest about it, Kelly. At the end of the day, the businessmen, they wouldn't have bought into Aston Villa if they didn't think they could make money on Aston Villa. And the only way you're going to make money at a football club is by being successful. And they've been successful in other walks of life, in sport in America. So I think they know what they're doing.
And they've all worked very hard to get to where they are.
Yeah, of course.
They deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, the club isn't great. I was lucky enough to go down there last week, and I was speaking to the people from Adidas, because apparently Adidas are doing the sponsorship next year, and the plans they've got is it's going to take Villa to I personally think it's going to take Villa to another level, and we need to go to another level to compete with the top 4 or 5, maybe 6 in the country. It's as they say, money talks, and if you haven't got the money and the money coming in, you're going to be left behind, and we cannot afford to do that.
It's a great time to be a Villa fan.
Probably the best. I mean, I was very fortunate. I played there, I won the league, I played in the World Club Championship, won the Super Cup, we won the European Cup. There's nothing else you could win as a club level. I the FA Cup, but I mean, to win the European Cup and the Super Cup, okay, we beat Bayern Munich and Barcelona, 2 of the giant teams in them 2 competitions, and we had a chance then on the playing side to compete with anybody, but we just didn't get the right backing from the very top of the club at the time. Where this time around, the manager's getting the backing 110% from the people who are running the club, and you can sense it even in the, it's a feel good factor all the way through the club at the moment. I mean, I do a lot of work down there, and after games, an hour after game, the place is still buzzing. That's just telling that people are happy to be there, and just may carry on, a few years longer.
And what I like about Unai Emery, he's always looking to improve. Keep improving.
Well, I think that's the animal of football, isn't it? You can't stand still. If you stand still, somebody's going to overtake you. And we all know in this football game, it doesn't matter if you sign we've seen it before. Managers sign a 4-year, 5-year contract, and after 9 months, something happens to go. Probably the biggest example is Chelsea. It's ridiculous what's happened to that club. Is employing people and sacking them. You cannot get no stability at a club like that. To be successful, you look at all the good sides. They've had stability from the top, and it just runs all the way through to the club. And you need that at the football club. And also at the moment, that's what Villa have got. The trainers, the coaches, the people who work at the club, they can see they're working for a good football club now, and it's and everybody's pulling the same way, which is very important.
And Tony as well. When I think of legends, you're a true legend.
Well, I won't say a true legend. I'm very, very lucky. My biggest disappointment ever been Aston Villa. Like I've always said, this supporters that when Mr. Ellis come back, I was finished there at 27, 28. I wasn't even at my prime. I didn't fit into it because, I mean, that's my biggest regret with the Villa supporters. Always has been, always will be. They never really saw the best of me because of one man. And not just that, never saw the best of the side they had then and the youngs. Don't forget when we were there, like the U2 and FA Cup winners, the Central East side was up there. That club was set up for the next 4 or 5 years. Really, I mean, Everton went and came in and done everything for 4 or 5 years. We were as good as Everton, if not better. But we had a better setup from the youth level. The lads were going to come through, and it was smashed to pieces inside 18 months, which is a disgrace, really. But now, obviously, that's gone. We can't do nothing about that. All we can look forward for now is good times with the present team, and what I wish for next year. I want to see a trophy next year. People kept saying to me this year, would you be the Champions League or a trophy on the table? A lot of people say want the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. It's glamour, lots of money. But I'm old-fashioned. I want to see a pot on in the cabinet. And
I think under Unai Emery, I think it will happen.
Oh yeah, well his record is phenomenal. His record is phenomenal. He will win as a trophy hopefully a few trophies in his next 4 years. But I'd like to see next year. I'd like to see a trophy. On the I don't want to see Villa getting through to the semi-finals or maybe wherever. I want to final of the Champions League and have a great run. Say, oh, fantastic, and not win anything. Let's get a trophy on the table, and then you can build on that. Once you start winning things, players join you all the time. And listen, unfortunately, I'm not one of these players who ex-players want to say, "Oh, I played 40 times in the Premier League and in the Champions League, but never won anything." As a player, there's very few players win things. So when you finish your career, you want to come out with a major honour. And I think Villa in the next 2 or 3 years will come out with a major honour. Well, the team will win a major honour.
Well, talking about major honours, How did it feel to win the European Cup in 1982? And what are your memories from that special day?
Well, it's probably just the way it feels now. I mean, we were professional. We had a job to do, Chad. You know what I mean? What people think? Oh, it must go out there. We were drilled. We were drilled for years and years by Ron Saunders what to do. So, we had a job to do, and it was our job. I was more nervous, to be honest with you, was that because I think the European Cup had been in England. I think it was for 3 or 4 seasons then, or maybe 5. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And what I didn't want is to play in a side that lost the European Cup. We're not lost, didn't retain it. I felt more pressure doing that. The game was not pressure at all. Like, you know what I mean? It was quite easy, European football. It was easy. It was enjoyable. But I felt more pressure that way because I didn't want to be thinking, oh, Villa were the side that didn't retain the European Cup, because our league in the 70s and 80s was by far the best in the world in Europe. The European Cup had been in I think for 11 years. I think we've had about 7 or 8 finalists. So it just shows you how strong the league was then. Very, very powerful.
And also with Bayern Munich, it wasn't an easy game. You had to work for it. It wasn't easy.
We had to work for it, yeah. You have to work for everything. A lot of people look at football and think, oh, it's an easy game. You've all got little jobs to do. We all knew. We all had it was like a machine. Each part of the machine had to do a job to make it work properly, the engine work properly. And we all had jobs to do. We all knew our job, what we had to do. So, we just went out there and tried to implicate what we've been told and what we trained for. We knew we were playing against one of the greatest teams in the world, powerful, internationals all around the side. I mean, what people didn't realise, that was the first final they've ever lost against us.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They've never been beaten in any final whatsoever before they played against us. So it was a double-edged thing, But no, listen, how he felt? No, I didn't really feel nothing. I was just happy to win it. Go and have a few beers after with the lads, and maybe years later that you realise, I won't say lucky, how privileged you are to lift that trophy. Because when you look back, you look at all the greatest players in the world. Some of the greatest players in the world have never lifted that trophy.
A lot of English teams have won that as well.
Sorry?
A lot of English teams.
Yeah. I think there's 6, isn't there?
Man United, Liverpool.
Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. No, yeah, but let's get it right. Let's get something completely right. Chelsea, Man City won it because they've bought it.
Exactly.
We know that. If you turn around and say that, listen, they wouldn't have got anywhere near that trophy. It wasn't for the present owners at Chelsea or the past owners at Chelsea and the present owners at Man City. Wouldn't have got anywhere near it. If you want to look at fantastic success, you've got to look at Brian Clough win it 2 years on the trot. And he had retired players, you know what I mean? What he done was absolute phenomenal achievement, But it rakes me up a lot when I see Chelsea. Oh yeah, we won. Yeah, you see, because if Abramovich wouldn't have been there, they wouldn't have got anywhere near the Champions League. And the same with Man City, if these owners hadn't been there, they wouldn't have got anywhere near it. So, to me, I know they won it. I know it's on the record, but it's not the same as building a side, young sides, and coming through in it. No way at all.
Well, all of you in that team, all of you contributed. I'd like to say a big thank you.
No, my pleasure, mate.
What you did for those Villa fans.
Yeah, well, listen, like I've said before, my biggest regret is, and always has been, is that my career was cut short there when I wasn't even at my prime. You know what I mean? I could have had another 3 or 4 years there. And the annoying thing about it was, I didn't lose my place or because somebody better than me. It's because of politics of what one chairman who took over. And it wasn't just me. There was 3 or 4 players in that side who really the careers cut short. And it was, it's sad really that one man at that time could dictate with football. It wouldn't happen now because there's that much politics in it. But that time is wrong. I just feel sorry for the Villa supporters, because I know for a fact, if them squad of players would have stayed together through a couple of years, and when I was there would have been another 1 or 2. There would have been a couple more trophies in the cabinet, and then you can sit down and think, well, I've done my job, simple as that. Not leaving thinking, well, there could have been a bit more there.
As well, you're all drinking a lot of champagne that day.
Sorry, pal?
You're celebrating a lot.
Well,
Do you have a hangover the next day?
for about a year. No, listen. No, listen. At the end of the day, like you young lads, you're 25, 26, you're fit. You've just been out. It was really what people don't realise. It was a really humid day that day, and really, of course, you're going to celebrate. It's the end of the season. We've just been crowned European champions. You know, not many players will get that opportunity. So you're going to have a couple of beers with the lads, aren't you? Like, you know what I mean? It's nothing. You know, it's normal. Yeah, the season's finished. It's finished with. We can relax now. We can have a few beers. In fact, we have too many beers, which where quite a few of us did. Like, you know, so you know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, we've got another 3 or 4 weeks before we go back for trade. Just enjoy it, because you know it might never happen again, and it didn't. Like, you know, so you just got to appreciate it and enjoy the moment.
And Tony as well. You assisted Peter with. Can you talk me through that goal?
No, it's simple. I mean, what people didn't realise that I was Villa's leading goal scorer in the Champions League for a winger. It wasn't Peter Weir or anybody else. I was a leading goal scorer, and people forget that. Like, you know what I mean? People don't realise that. Oh, the goal was nothing. Listen, it's what we get trained to do. I got taught get to the dead ball line. If you get the ball in the box, you've done your job. I knew what I had to do. To be fair to you, the Germans were very good at cutting my service out. I couldn't get the ball. They were instead of man marking me. I didn't get much opportunity to take somebody on, but I knew I'd get one chance in the match, and unfortunately, I got it. And I knew what I had to do. I just turned the fella inside out, and I saw Peter out the side of my head, the far the post, and I thought, well, if I knock it around the 6-yard box, he's going to come in, and you know, I couldn't chip it because of where they are, so I just drove it, and it was quite strange, really, because it hit a divot just before Peter's connected with it. It hit a lump, a divot on the ground, and it's come off his ankle. And it's come off his ankle, actually, and hit the post and gone in.
It wasn't the best finish, but the all counts.
But that's what I mean. It doesn't matter, you know, that's what I'm saying to you. But you asked me about the goal, and that's what happened. It actually just hit a bit of a divot as it was hitting him. It's his ankle. To be fair to you, I think if it didn't, he would have hit it straight, and I think the goalkeeper would have saved it. Because he would have hit it straight, and the goalkeeper was coming across, but it come off his ankle and went in. But like you say, it's the luckiest goal probably Villa's ever scored. But it's the most important in their history.
Everybody thinks of the iconic commentary.
Yeah.
You're not Shaun Williams prepares to venture down the left.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
just walk behind him, Tony Morley.
Be honest,
it was Peter with.
Yeah, it just seems strange, mate. All these years, 40 odd years down the line, and people are still remembering, like, you know, I'm just a normal lad from Liverpool, like, you know, and for me, people stop me in the street. I'm very, very privileged, like, you know, but, you know, to me, I was just doing my job. That was my job, you know. I scored goals. I got goal of Europe that year. I got goal of the season the year before.
You keep professional.
Sorry.
You keep professional.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah, it's your job, like, you know, you got to do it, and you know, people say great, you know, but like I said before, like, you know, I've been very fortunate because a lot of, you know, if you just say, for example, there's 1,000 professional players in I don't know, in a 4 or 5 year period, you only probably get 150 of them will come out with medals. You know what I mean? And so you probably a smaller majority will come out with the top medals. So, you know, I've always said, you know, if you're in a professional sport like that, football, you've got to try and come out with a medal, whatever it might be, a professional medal at the end of it all. Say, well, listen, for all the hard work I've put in, at least I've got something. And I've been very fortunate. As an English player, I've won the league and the European Cup. You don't get any higher than that, like, you know. So I've been very, very fortunate. And fortunate I played for a fantastic football club as well. And fortunately, again, I'm still involved in a fantastic football club.
You are. You play a big part in the club's history.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just let's see what they do next year when the Champions League. See what people don't realise, Chad, is that when the chairman, I don't know mention his name, who took over when we were up, there wasn't one photograph at Villa Park for 25 years of his lads. Not one photograph at Villa Park for winning the league, the Super Cup, the European Cup, the World Club Jam. Wasn't one photograph for 25 years. I don't think there's any other football club in the football world that would happen to, but that happened in Aston Villa Football Club. And it only changed when Randy Lerner came back and the recognition.
Everybody talks about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should know the history. We should really know the history of what there's always been up and down. I think now with these people who are in the club now, you've got stability, and you've got people who want it. The person when I was there, his ego was bigger than the club. It was simple as that, and he completely and utterly ruined a fantastic. They should have been carried on for the next for at least 5 years, but it didn't happen, and you can't do nothing about that now. Can you? It's past.
We'll go to the next question. So, how would you describe what Ron Saunders and Tony Barton were like in the dressing room?
Well, Tony Barton was never in. Tony Barton went in the dressing room when Saunders left. Saunders was black and white. You've done your job. Great. If you didn't do your job, you get somebody else to do it. Simple as that. He was very, very hard. He made it clear what he wanted. If you couldn't do it, he'll get somebody else to do it. He had no favourites. His training was very, very hard, incredibly hard, very basics. You knew what your job was. Do the job. If you don't do the job, we'll just get somebody else. Saunders will give you 2 or 3 chances. After that, you're out the door. And that's what football was like then. It was brutal. But you knew to get success, you had to play with a manager like him. Simple as that. So Tony Barton on the other hand was a lovely bloke. When he took over the team that won the European Cup, what he done is
Was he assistant manager at first?
Assistant manager as such, but I mean, what he done, Tony, when he got the manager's job, is he didn't change anything. He knew he took over a well-oiled machine, and he just let it run. I mean, if he would have tried to mess about with it, I think he could have messed things up. That side could run itself. And the side I was in for 18 months because everybody knew what they had to do. So Tony is as big as a team was not tried, because it was his team, not try to change things about and fetch players in, because he knew everybody could do a job for him, But Saunders, they're completely chalk and cheese. Saunders was ruthless, great manager. Whatever happens, he'll go down as one of Villa's greatest managers.
Was he strict?
Extremely strict. You don't get away with him. His trend. He used to be in the army, you see, as a young man, a boxer in the army, and his fitness was. I would say we're by far the fittest side in the league. Some of his training methods were brutal, but I've got no complaints for the simple reason I was a young man, and I was getting paid to keep myself fit. And it's got to be the best job in the world, hasn't it?
Because I always remember Ron Saunders, that big saying he said, "Do you want to bet against us?"
Yeah, against Ipswich when we got beat. Yeah, he had a great belief in himself. And something else about that year when we won the league, mate, which a lot of people don't realise. It annoys me to them. Ipswich that year was about Ipswich. Everybody loved Ipswich because probably the manager. Saunders looked boring, like they wanted that team. But what people did, Ipswich got dropped 3 because he played for 2 points then, 2 points a game. Ipswich that year dropped 3 points against one team that got relegated. That was Norwich, a local derby. They dropped 3 points against a local derby. We had 7 local derbies, and we only dropped 1 point out of possible 14. I don't think, you look at Ipswich, Forest, Stoke, Coventry, Blues, Baggies, Stoke, all round Blues. I think we had 7, 6, 7. But no other team will win a league like that with that many local derbies. I think we only dropped 1 point. I think we drew away at West Brom, but the rest we won. Phenomenal record. But people never ever mention about Ipswich dropping 3 points out of 4 games, got relegated. People forget that.
And also, Ron Saunders, you won goal of the season.
Yep.
Against Everton, was it?
That was, yeah. I got goal of the season,
Do you remember that goal?
Yeah, because it was against my team, Everton. When I was my team, I suppose, as a kid, Everton. I just remember he threatened not to play me before because he knew it was my team, and he didn't even speak to me for the day before. Then he just said, "Now before the game, you're going to play," and he just wind me up, didn't he? He just wind me up, and I went out. Then I just wanted to prove him wrong, and I happened to score a great goal, and the rest is history. And he'd done exactly the same against a year later when we played in Europe against Dynamo Berlin. I got European goal of the season. He'd done the same again, saying I couldn't do this. You're too flashing. Just wind me up again. I scored 2 goals that night as well. Perhaps he should have done it every game, or just scored a goal every game then.
Ron Saunders got the best out of you. You were very nippy as well.
But they always say got the best out of me. But I mean, I could always play. Don't forget, I when I was at Preston as a young kid at 3rd Division, I was 19 and I played for England under 23. There's only 2 other players done that in the football history. I was playing a 3rd Division football at 19 and I played for England under 23 at Wales. So I could always play, you know what I mean? It was just needing that platform at the highest level to showcase it as such. I played for England youth and I was in the 3rd Division at Preston. We won the Mini World Cup. So I was always that young kid. I was always had the ability to play at the highest level. But you need to be playing at. You need to be on the stage where you're playing against it every week. To show your ability off really.
And so, what was it like winning the 1st Division title on the final day against Arsenal in 1991?
What was it like winning there?
Winning the league title.
Well, no. Once again, we were pros. I mean, it was a strange one because we didn't play well that day at all. I think it was a problem all the way down. We got caught in the traffic because it was 60-odd, biggest crowd, 60-odd thousands trying to get into Highbury, and we got caught. We had to park the bus away. We had to walk with the skips into the dressing room. The preparation wasn't the best. We didn't get out till about half an hour before the game. Everything was sort of like, in hindsight, what we should have done really is go down the night before. We just weren't ready. We weren't ready mentally. We just didn't realise how many Villa supporters were going to go down there and, the impact. So Arsenal were prepared. They were all changing the dressing room when we started walking in. So they were prepared for it, So, and what people don't realise, I think Arsenal finished 3rd that year.
Yeah.
They never got beat at home that season.
They're a good team back then as well.
Well, no, they always have been a good team, but they
always have been, yeah, but
yeah, they were unbeaten that year at home. So they were good. They were hard side to play against. But we didn't play. I think the opinion of all the lads on the way back, even though we were champions, we would have loved to have won it there and put a performance on. But as it happened, it didn't happen. I mean, the week before at Middlesbrough, we played Middlesbrough at Villa Park and it was muddy. I've never played in a Villa side that was so determined. I don't think Middlesbrough got out their own half in about 3 times in the whole game. It was the best team performance I've seen from Villa. It was absolutely inspiring to be in that side that day. Incredible.
Yeah, and in Middlesbrough, they beat Ipswich. Did they beat Ipswich, was it?
In the final, yeah. In the final.
On the final day, you were relying on the results.
Yeah, listen, but at the end of the day,
result didn't matter.
We got 3 more points more than them, you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? And like I said to you before, I think they lost it against the local team, Ipswich, when we got dropped 3 points, where we on a possible 14, we only dropped 1 point. And don't forget, we only played with 14 players all season.
I bet back in those times, the final day was different.
The final
day.
The final day.
Listening to radio.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was different.
Football's changed. Radios.
Yeah, football's changed completely. We didn't know it was a strange sensation in the crowd. We were getting beat 2-0, and the Villa supporters were going mad. And obviously, we didn't know because there's nobody on the pitch telling us what was happening. I just thought they might be celebrating for the last day. We didn't actually know until we got off the pitch that we were league champions, and then we can start to enjoy ourselves then.
Oh, it was a really special day that was as well.
Yeah, it was the first
celebrations.
Was it 70 years or 80 years since they've won the league? So really it was fantastic, really. And to win it when the European Cup had been in our league for 4 seasons or 5 seasons. You're playing against some of the best teams in Europe. So it was, and to have so many local derbies, it was special. Like I said, no, I don't think any other team will win it with 14 players and you've got to play like 7 local derbies. It just won't happen.
Yeah, and also, I've asked my ex-players this, but what was the feeling playing for Aston Villa for the first time? How would you describe it?
I've had a connection with Villa before because I remember when I made my debut for Preston as a young kid, about 18, 17, 18, it was all third division. We played against Villa, and it was 28,000 for the third division game, and the
Yeah,
end game of the season was 48,000. Villa, Bournemouth people. I mean, I remember when I played for England Youth, we play against Aston Villa because they were in the final of the FA Youth. When you play for England Youth, what you do, you play against the 2 teams that are in the final of the FA Youth Cup final
that's
the year
interesting.
before. Yeah, it's not like that now. It wasn't, but that year it was Liverpool and Villa. We played at Anfield. There was 14,000. We played at
What?
Villa Park. There was 16,000 a youth team. So I've always had this, you know, and like I played against Brian Little then and John Gidman against them, So I've always kept in contact. Then, I played at Villa Park. I was at Preston. I was about my third game. I think I was 18, and it was like 26,000 all third division. So yeah, maybe it was destiny that I should have played for Villa. You know what I mean? Because there always seems to be a connection there.
That's a big responsibility, playing for such a big club.
No, it's easy. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And I
Believe
bet you,
me,
bet
it's
you
a pleasure.
enjoyed it. I bet you loved it.
No, the thing is that you like anything, like you've got to perform. Now, I've had many a bad game for Villa, and they make the fans. They're different now. You don't have fans really having a go at players, but then if you play bad, they'd let you know because money was tight. They're paying the hard-earned money to go and watch their local team, and they want to try and see somebody, winning and entertaining, and then and they let you know. You learn quickly. He's 30, 30, 35, 40,000 watch you, and you don't perform, they certainly let you know. Then on the other hand, when you do well, it's a fantastic feeling. You've got 40,000 people behind you. It's fantastic, really.
And you played with some very talented players.
Yeah. There's loads. Now, I'll be very gifted. Full of us some great players, So it's
Over the years, we have been blessed with it.
oh, great players, yeah. I won't like to say. People always say who's the best. In my eyes, is nobody's the best. You're a team where like Gary Shaw's a great player, Gordon Cowens, Brian
Dennis
Little,
Mortimer,
great. Dennis Mortimer, got all these players, Des Bremner, got all these players with Kevin North, Alan Evans, they're all great players in their own right, people say, well, who's the best? I mean, people sit around and say, oh, well, who's the best in Peterborough and Andy Gray? You can't pick them, can you? Because they're both great players. Who's better than Brian Little and Gary Shaw? They're both great players. It's unfair for somebody to say, oh, I mean, what you got to realise in football is that luck has a lot to do with it. Gordon Cowles will go down as one of Villa's greatest ever players. But Gordon got in the team early because a great player called Alex Cropper, he broke his leg and
yeah.
give Gordon, open the door earlier for him. He still would have been a great player. And the same as with Gary Shaw, Brian Little got injured. So that opened the door for Gary a bit earlier than usual. So for some people's downfalls, it can open doors for other people, So, I look at football and I think, I hate it when people sit down and say, like, oh, he's a better player than him. No, if different positions, different styles, you've got to play. To me, I was put Dennis Mortimer, but I won't say he was the greatest footballer, but what he achieved at Aston Villa Football Club continually for 12 years was absolutely phenomenal.
Special.
Yeah, because his standard of play was always say if you give marks out of 10, some weeks I'd get maybe 8 or 9. Some weeks I'd get 5, crap. But Dennis would always be a steady 7 all the way along, then an 8, Very rarely drop below that standard. Same as Des Bremner, the same. Very, very high standard every week.
So was being a footballer something you always wanted to do?
I knew nothing else, Chad, mate. Be fair to you. I was just a kid in Liverpool. yeah, that's all I wanted to do, because I used to go and watch Everton play, and I remember going when there used to be horses outside the ground with the police on there, and hamburger stalls, and the rattles and the crowd when you get in
Did you
there.
kick the ball a lot? Did you kick the ball quite a lot?
Well, when I was a kid.
Did you play out quite a lot of that?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, all the time. Now I was very fortunate. I was born in a state council estate where all the lads were the same. It was gang of us. We all grew up together. We're all still we're all still friends now. And yeah, but there's nothing else to do then. It's like most people at my age, kids of my age. There's nothing really else to do. You came home from school, just went out and played football. You went come home for your tea, finish your tea. It was late night. You go out and play again, because there was nothing else to do then. Like, there was nothing about for you really to do. It was not like computers you have now and stuff like that.
Things were different. Were a lot different then.
Yeah, because your mum and dad want to get you out, just get you away. You know what I mean? Just go and play, and it was safe then to play on the streets, on the fields. Now you wouldn't. If I've got kids, young kids, my two kids have grown up, I'd be scared. I'd be scared now at this day and age, because it ain't a nice place out there at the moment. But the way I was brought up, I would never, ever want to change the way I was brought up at all. We just enjoyed our youth and enjoyed it all. Sorry?
Nice memories as well.
Oh, fantastic memories. I just wouldn't change it. I'm still in contact. Quite a few of the lads, they're all grown up now, all gone their own ways, but we're still friends. And that bond we had from being kids, it'll never be broken. Never be broken.
Well, I wanted to talk about your England career.
Yeah.
You had 6 caps.
Yeah.
What was it
6 full
like playing
caps.
for England?
I got 6 full caps, but I played at every level professionally. But I mean,
What was the experience like?
Easy. My biggest regret at all is only getting 6 caps. When I look at some of the donkeys who've got 40 caps, and I'm thinking, well, at the end of the day, you've got to be grateful at least you got 6 caps. The reason I didn't get more caps is because I couldn't get an Aston Villa side, and I explained before why I couldn't get an Aston Villa. It was nothing to do with anyone who was better than me. It was politics. So, you can hype on about that and it can drive you crazy. But I got to be grateful. I got an England cap. Dennis Mortman never got one. Gary Shaw never got one. Kenny Swain never got one. You look at these people, never got England caps, and so I've got to be grateful that I've got six England caps, full caps. That is.
Well, I've got 2 more questions left.
No problem, pal.
So, have you got good memories from local derbies against
Local
Birmingham
derbies?
City?
No, I haven't got one good memory of local derby against them.
Do you not playing a local derby for Villa?
Yeah, against Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah. No, it wasn't enjoyable because it wasn't football. It was just a physical scrap on a pitch. They would have been better playing it on a Sunday league somewhere in Small East, because there was no football played. It was just disgraceful.
No disrespect to Birmingham City.
Sorry?
Birmingham City were better then.
Yeah, but
they were quite a good team back then.
No, but the thing is, Chad, it doesn't matter. It's a local derby. It doesn't matter where you are, top of the league.
That goes out the window, yeah.
It goes out the window. If it's a cup game and it's a local, if it's the first thing, it doesn't goes out the window. No, they hated Villa. They hated Villa. Well, the thing is, all the teams, they all say West Brom and Wolves, they hate Villa. As a club, Villa were the best side in the Midlands by far. Still are the best side. All your Midlands team don't like Villa. They want to beat Villa. Simple as that. And if anybody says that the support said no, they don't. It's a load of rubbish. They all want to beat the Villa. So
not local pride as well.
It's local pride, but against the Blues, it went out the game, mate. It went out the window. It wasn't football. It was just survival of the fittest. Put it that way.
And the pitches were really muddy then as well.
Oh, it's disgraceful. I mean, for somebody like myself who wanted to run with the ball and dribble, it was a nightmare trying to play because the ball will get stuck, and all of a sudden you're going to get wetted, because their defenders were big lads then, and they were just waiting for that one chance, bang, and I tell you what, mate, if I could show you my legs with all the scars on my legs through football, you won't believe it. You see, no way, you can't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I never used to wear shin guards. You see, very small ones, and I'm paying for that now, mate.
You used to get on with it then as well.
Well, you had to. We had to.
You
Simple
had
as
no
that.
choice, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was that, mate. When it was freezing cold nights, or somebody come in and put a cold sponge over you, and you don't want that. Believe me.
So, what is your thoughts on Aston Villa qualifying for the Champions League football?
Phenomenal. Listen. Like I said before, Villa, in my eyes, my opinion, are in the best position that I've ever known them to be in. And I've been involved with the club. I come down in '79, so you're looking at 45 years. So I would love, Chad, I would love now to be 19, 20, just starting in my career trying to get in this Villa side, because they've got great supporters, they've got a great stadium,
It's a big club.
they've got a
Deserves
fantastic,
success.
yeah, they've got a fantastic training ground, good manager, and fantastic owners, and that can only really say one thing: success in the future.
We're going to Champions League games. I'm going to be very emotional.
Well, yeah, but the good thing about this Champions League game, it's a bit easy for the teams now. They've guaranteed 8 games now, aren't they?
Different format.
Different. I don't understand it, but I mean, I'm a great believer. If the Champions League, it should be the champions. But that changed years ago, because what's happened with that? Similarly with that, your big teams want to be in that competition, so they fetch this new rule that 4 can qualify out your top leagues. When we won it, it was the champions against the champions, 32 teams against each other. And if you draw Real Madrid in the first round, you play Real Madrid in the first round. Now you can get beat a couple of games and still qualify. I'm not a great believer in that, but I've got to be honest here. The knockout stage in the last 5 years of the Champions League, when it's got to the last quarterfinals and semis, has been absolutely exceptional. Been really, really exciting.
Emery as well. You completely trust him.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
Listen, he's done well. He's done a great deal. I think there'll be more pressure on him next year for a simple reason. Everybody's expecting him now to take it that step further. We need some new players, bit higher standard, which is only natural, and maybe the Champions Leagues will probably attract him as well.
And Tony, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. I'm going to read out a few comments.
Come on then.
So we got then. Thank you for the season, legend. We got Sean Coyle, Wild Chad Williams, another great guest. Yeah, I can't believe I'm talking to Tony Morley.
Nah, don't be silly.
You got Kate Webster. A trophy would be great. Then we got Jimbo. Thanks for all you did for Villa, Tony. Great memories of you. Best winger in your time. And scandalous. You only played for England once. London press, etc.
Six, not one, 6 times.
And the goal in Moscow.
Yeah.
So memorable. One more. We do one more.
Sorry,
so
mate.
We got Aaron Blackwood. 2 legends on here. Well, thank you for all your great comments tonight. I always appreciate the amazing support.
Okay.
If you click on the comment now to get it off. And then just click on Aaron again. You've been a great guest, Tony.
Okay, mate. Thanks
Well,
for the
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's gone quickly, mate.
It's great to meet you in person as well.
Yeah, listen, it was a bit hard at first. It was a bit hard at first, but that's my problem. I'm old-fashioned, me. Anything to do with mobile phones, I
That's fine.
can't get into. But listen, it's come out okay, hasn't it?
It has, and also it's great to talk to you. We met each other at the Aston Inn as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no.
It was a great night, that was.
Yeah, no problem, mate. Listen, I want to watch the match now. I want to watch. Have we finished this
podcast?
Yeah. You what, pal?
It's finished now. I'm going to just wrap it up now.
Okay. Look after yourself,
mate. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a thumbs up and share as well. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. Remember to make sure to click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much, Tony, for your time.
Pleasure.
I'm going to wrap up this episode with Up the Villa